My, what a beautiful time to be alive. It is me, Ice the Man, back with EBA Tonight, the one and only episodic show bringing you everything that's happened in the EBA. As always, I am here with my brother from another mother, the commish, Texas James Smith.
Yay, man, back, good to be back, man. About to start this next season. Bidding is just about done. Season's just a few games away, man. Can't wait to get this started, man. Got a lot of good stuff in store for tonight, man. I'm excited.
Dude, we put a lot of work in this bidding here. So, or not this bidding, but this show. I mean, we put a lot of work. We went over rosters and we fought back and forth. So I'm really excited to get this show off. This is probably one of the most important shows of the season already. Season 7. This is episode 2 of season 7. We are on the way. All the teams are picked. All the rosters are filled. All we're waiting for is to get the games rolling in. I mean, you got to be excited right now, right, Texas?
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. We're going to have a great season. It's going to be another terrific season this year.
Very competitive all the way around. I have to stop this music right now because I have one of the only guests ever to have his own, the most feared man in the EBA. That's right, the killer sound in the back. Kill. I have the one and only owner of the Washington Wizards as our special guest tonight. The killer himself, Garbage Assassin. How you doing tonight, Garbage?
Doing pretty good. How about you guys?
You're doing great. Glad to have you on the show. I mean, this is the first time I asked you if you watched the show, and you gave me this every once in a while. You know, when I'm not busy doing other things like dropping people off, I sometimes turn on your show, is what I hear.
Yeah. Every now and then I'll tune in to see what you guys are talking about.
So
I tuned in during the team draft and everything and watched it. It was pretty good.
Yeah, that was a good one. I think that was episode 1 for season 7 if you watched the last one. So you kind of got a gist of how things go here. Don't worry, I'll just, like I said, throw you the T-ball pitches and you knock them out of the park. What we're doing tonight is we're going to talk about power rankings. Preseason power rankings are the most important. We looked at last year's and we were talking back and forth and go, man, we were pretty damn near on the preseason. First time we did preseason was last season's episodes. Or season 6, this season 7, we're doing preseason power rankings. Everybody wants to know where their team plays. Everybody wants to know how we rated. We broke it down in a couple different rating areas, and we'll explain them. But let's jump right into it here. Let's go with number 10. Mr. 10 at the bottom, very bottom, is the LA Lakers. Now, this was very difficult to do, only because of the situation that they're the LA Lakers. We have them, we were going through, and Texas can vouch for me on this. We're going through and we're like, okay, who do we put at the bottom of these rankings here? It has to be the Lakers just because of the Lakers team itself. Looking at the roster, I'm looking at the roster now. Return of the King for $2 million. Insane Legend for $500K. MC Sticks for $500K. Trainer. Remix for $500K. The Real Uncle Drew $4 million. $6 million E-Money $3K. BSB Kinky, Prince Pookie at $500K, $1.5 million as I'm Saucin'. The star player by far is Drew, which, I would give Drew and E-Money kind of a push on that. The star player, Drew, E-Money, $4 million, $6 million there. They had $1 million in cap remaining. Let me ask you this real quick. Garbage, what do we need to know about the LA Lakers? Why are they ranked at the 10th spot?
Just because they took the Lakers. I can see if they took almost any other team, they'd be ranked top 5 without a doubt.
Yeah, I
Because
mean,
they got a talented roster. It was just the Lakers.
yeah, talking with Texas, and we chatted back and forth. You give them any other team on here, we give them the Trailblazers, the Rockets, the Thunder, the Wizards. With this roster, dude, we're talking top 3, top 4, easy. I mean, would you agree with that, Texas?
Easy.
No doubt.
You know, for a lot of people that don't know, me and I spent a couple hours, you know, going through looking at all the rosters, ranking all the rosters of how we feel, like a grade or whatever. And this roster was by far one of the better rosters that is in the league this year. This is definitely a top ranked roster, user wise, for what we have. I mean, balanced wise, do they have any question marks? Which they don't at all. The only question mark they have is they're the Lakers. And, you know, that's going to be a big issue coming through. And, you know, Trainer did a terrific job in bidding. If only he would have done half as good in his team pick, you know, he would be at the top of the league right now.
I mean, shit, you give these guys Spurs, I'm scared. You give these guys anybody, like Grizzlies, I'm shaking a little bit here. But they're the Lakers. I mean, they've got such a hard
If you
climb.
give these guys any team from where he picked down, he's at the top of the league. It doesn't matter. Any team picked. I mean, he's up there. He's in the top 5, besides the Lakers.
I mean, you Wizards.
Yes.
Even Detroit, I'd be a little nervous with. Even how bad Detroit is, I would still be a little nervous over the Lakers. I mean, you give them just about any other team but the Lakers with this roster. I mean, you'd have to agree, right, Garbage? I mean, looking at this roster, it's a solid roster. He probably did the best in bidding for having the shittiest team.
Oh, I think he did. He spent his cap well, and he got the players, like, he got real nice players. Just once again, he's the Lakers, so you don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's one player over what is there, one player that's maybe a 79, maybe an 80, maybe? I mean...
I think it's D'Angelo Russell, if I'm not mistaken, and Nick Young.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure if Nick Young's an 80, but he was a real nice player on 2K. But that's about it on that team, it feels like.
I mean, he's really going to test. First of all, I think he's going to struggle keeping his team together. Second of all, I feel that he's going to struggle with really figuring out how to, well, like I said, keep these guys together, keep them happy. But also, he's going to push the point of saying what's better, the players or the 2K players, because he's got a really good 2K or got a really good roster, but horrible 2K players. I mean, I see him at 10, and I think, Garbage, you agreed with me when we discussed this earlier. You see him at, or not Garbage, but Texas, you see him at 10 as well. I mean, any last thoughts on the LA Lakers before we just move on, Texas? I mean, I'm beating a dead horse here. Like I said, to me personally, I'm frustrated because I feel like it's a smack in the face of the EBA that he picked the Lakers, but we've discussed this outside many times. What's your final thoughts?
Right. This is what I see, man. You know, we say he has the best roster right now. I'm waiting for the trade request to flood in. I haven't got any yet, which is, you know, really surprising. And maybe they're happy. Maybe they're doing something right over there that makes these players want to stay. I know that maybe they all realize the same thing. We realize they got a great roster now. If they can only contribute that to the Lakers, you know, it could be a good thing. Yeah, it's frustrating to see a team like the Lakers picked, but if an owner wants to put the work in, he should have the choice of what team he wants to put that work in with. So I wish them the best of luck, and I think they're going to be all right this season, especially with the roster they have.
Yeah, not to beat the dead horse, but I still disagree that you got to make 8 guys unhappy in order to make 1 guy happy or 2 guys happy. That just mentality is wrong. I almost feel like he's copping out because like I said, if he took a top team or any top team, he shouldn't even have to be a top team. He could pick the Boston Celtics here, the Spurs, the Grizzlies, any of those teams, and with this roster, be as competitive as fuck. I mean, we're talking easily playoffs in the West right now. Easy playoffs in the West with a decent team, with how weak it is, and I don't know. I mean, any last thoughts, Garbage?
You know what I'm starting to think is maybe Trainer doesn't want the pressure of winning on his shoulders. maybe he just wants to chill out and just not have all that pressure. Because if we had a better team, he would be a championship contender. But now he's just doing what he does and picks the troll team.
Yeah, but what people don't
So he
understand,
doesn't have all that
and
pressure.
that's what he says, but what people don't understand, nobody expects Trainer to win anyway. But he builds a solid roster with the Lakers. If he would just help his team out, I mean, this team's going to be frustrated. I'm telling you, they're going to be competitive. I'm not saying they're not going to be competitive. With this roster, they're going to be competitive. However, they're going to run into the fourth quarter where their guys are not making shots. They're dropping the ball. They're getting ripped because they just don't have the 2K skill that they need. And I feel they're going to fall off. And that's just going to frustrate everybody on the team where all Trainer had to do, he doesn't have to shoot for the freaking stars. I'm not saying if he's first pick, take it. I don't have a problem with him being 7th pick. The problem is at the 7th pick, he took the Lakers when there was 25 teams better than them. That's the problem
Even
I had.
taking the Raptors.
Exactly.
The Raptors are still a real nice team.
I mean, even with
without Lowry.
Exactly. Even with certain people out, they're still a better team than the Lakers. But anyway, moving on. Let's go to the number 9. This preseason ranking is the Portland Trailblazers. Now, the Portland Trailblazers has Hayden Land at 2.5, Baller for Life at 1.5, Whereas at 1 mil, Shadows at 2.5, It's Rush, King Havoc at 1 mil, Yes Sir at 500K, BC All Day for Life at 2.5 mil, Kobe the Great, it looks like he wants to spell, but then he just put a bunch of numbers in at 1.5, and King Savage at 500K. So 13.5 mil. He has 3.5 cap remaining. It's Rush being a new owner. I mean, what do we need to know about this team, Texas?
Obviously, I mean, you just clarified Rush is a new owner, but he's been around the league for a minute. He has great experience with a lot of these guys. He knows, obviously, he knows a lot of these guys. He picked them up. You got Hayden Lane, who's been around the league for a long time, back to our pre-site days. Shadows, I believe he's looking for Shadows as a GM. No confirmation on that yet, but he asked me how to make a GM one time, so look for that in the future. They really don't have any like absolutely like guys you just look on there and be like, wow, you know what I mean? This guy is going to be a problem, and I think that's going to be an issue for these guys. It's definitely going to be a problem. If the Lakers would have had a better team, they would have climbed up, and Portland would have very probably been last. They have a very weak under the rim team, 2K wise. Their bigs are hurt right now. They're banged up really bad, so that's going to be interesting to watch throughout the season.
Yeah, we actually had them 7, 8, and 9 here. We argued back and forth many times. But the C, we had them as a roster rank. We think their roster is ranked as C, and one of the reasons is they have good average players. I think everywhere we looked, they had decent players. The problem is there was no superstar to stand out to pick you out of that power forward and center. And I feel, and I think you felt the same way, that they're going to get beat up with a pretty bigs around there. I mean, every team has a superstar at a big, and I think those superstars are going to beat up on these. And I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong here, but Garbage, what do you think about putting the Trailblazers at number 9 here?
I think they're going to surprise a few people, to be honest. I think It's Rush. I think his line is going to be solid, and I'm not sure about the other line, but it looks like they got some solid players all around on Blazers, and Blazers aren't exactly a bad team. They got 2 good shooters at the 1 and 2, solid big, and they have Crab at 3 who also shoot out lights.
Oh shit! Someone just made a highlight.
I think they're going to be a surprising team.
Yeah, I think there's a couple steals I think here and there. I think we'll talk about a little bit later, but I still feel that they're going to struggle in a big oriented with not that great of bigs. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, moving on to number 8, the Los Angeles Clippers. We have them at 8. And I know what? The second pick all the way down to number 8. And again, there's a big gaps in here and prove us wrong, whatever, but we have you at 8 at the original Los Angeles Clippers. The star player, I believe, is Shump on the team. 7.5 cap remaining. I think there was some growth there that could have went out and done a little better in bidding. I think Quickie knew who he wanted. He just went out and got those guys. We gave their roster rank a C- overall. With the second pick at the LA Clippers, what do we need to know about this team, Texas?
Yeah, my problem with this team is that you have a lot of guys here that are average or below average. Um, they're the Clippers, so you need to start from the inside out. Okay, you need to start working on DeAndre and Blake, which you have nobody on this list that you look at. Oh, well, he's gonna be DeAndre, he's gonna be Blake. Oh no, how are we gonna stop this guy? Nobody on that list does that. If you could point to one of these guys on the list and tell me they're scary, I'm gonna tell you you're full of shit. Because there's not one person on this list that can do that for you. I like Mr. Leon. He's a great guy, but he has a disappearing act. He'll go halfway through the season and just vanish on you. Almighty Zeus, he's been falling off on these last few 2Ks and been what he used to be. Uh, Illmatic's a good. He'll be a good Reddick for him.
Actually, I think
But
Ilmatic's playing point guard, but I could be wrong. But go ahead.
oh, is he? Is he? Well, if he
Mm.
does play point guard, then he'll be okay. Uh, Shump Life is gonna be this team's savior. They're gonna have to lean on Shumpert. He's a ball dominant point guard. He likes to shoot. He likes to handle the rock, which is good. Um, it's going to be everything to him. They got a great team, but I feel like the team was built wrong. I feel like they built with Shumpert. You know what I mean? They should have invested a lot more money down into the paint, which they didn't. I feel like Quickie went LGBA here, and it's not going to help them. We've seen in the past where other sites come in, other team play sites come in here thinking they're going to be okay, and they're not. I mean, yeah, these guys are known around this league, but they're not really stars or have never been top quality guys on this list. It's the Boss is a great player for 500K. I really like the guy as a player, but they just built. I feel like they built more outside in than inside out. They need to spend a lot more money under the rim.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's the boss is the only big guy that really shines here in this list. But with the bigs that were out there, I mean, look at it like this: garbage. You've got Master Quickie, of course, owning. You got Mr. Leon at 500K, Almighty Zeus at 500K, D9 at 500K, Illmatic Titan at 500K, Clutch King, Schwug So Fly, It's the Boss, Cripple X Dave, all 500K. The only person they went out and spent a little money on is Shumpert Life at 3.5, which is not bad, I think, for Shumpert Life at that 3.5 mark. But I mean, looking at this roster, we gave them a C minus grade. The only reason I think that they edge out the Trailblazers is the 2K team itself. What are your thoughts on the Los Angeles Clippers?
To be honest, I think they're going to be one of the worst teams in the league because it looks like that you've got a whole bunch of role players and only one superstar in Chump, and he's going to be playing on one line. So they also were trying to go after JT. That's why they also got a whole bunch of 500K players. But we all know what happened with that. But
Yeah, I mean, I know they miss out on
There's-
certain people, but 7.5 million, I think there's just too much money left on the table.
yeah, definitely, especially with the Clippers. Clippers could have attracted a lot of talent because there's quite a few people that would want to play on the Clippers because they're a real nice team. in 2K.
Absolutely. Everybody wants to be DeAndre.
I mean,
Exactly.
yeah, I think that coming off of a season with the Clippers that actually won the finals and beat Shumpert Life and his team with the Golden State Warriors, I fear that Shump couldn't do it all by himself before, and I don't think Shump can do it all by himself here. And I feel he's in another situation where he's going to have to. Don't get me wrong, the rest of the guys on the team, I respect each one of these guys. I think they're great players, but I don't think they're amazing players, if that says too much.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think the majority of these guys have been consistent in this league, and they're what we need to keep this league going. I mean, they all have their certain roles to play, but I can't see any of these guys taking over and winning for these guys. And poor Shump is in a worse situation than he was last year. Way worse. Way worse.
Yeah, the 500K army has proven not to really work. Do you see being an owner that kind of did something similar but went really and actually won on the opposite side? We'll get to you in a little while, but do you see some similarities here with the way he was trying to set his team up, or do you feel that he's completely on a different map than you?
I definitely think he did something similar, but he he just didn't have the cap room, is what I should say. He just didn't have the cap room to do that. If he wanted to do something where he could just get 500 players and stack a line, he should have traded back to like the 9th or 10th pick.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. So moving on to the number 7th spot right now. Number 7 in the pre-rankings is Houston Rockets. Now, Houston Rockets got, I think, a pretty decent because a couple question marks is the reason why they're here. And again, you could take, I think, these 5, 6, 7, maybe mix them up a bit one way or the other. But it gets difficult when you're looking at each individual. We actually gave the Rockets a C- as well when it comes to roster rank. You could probably bump them up to a C or maybe even a C+. But there was a couple question marks that we had for one of the reasons. A couple guys on here that we've never seen before. We don't know if little man F50 is good. No autographs is supposed to be good, but he's at $4 million. We don't know if he's worth that or not worth that because we've never seen him play in the league. So this team could really surprise us in a few ways. We know Melo B. Ballin's good. White Ice Fresh, he's a good role player. He'll do his job where he needs to do and help the team win. G Money is a solid big. If you're putting G Money, if you picked him up at center or power forward here, that wouldn't be a question mark. But G Money at shooting guard for $3 million, I don't know personally if G Money's going to take off. He might. I could be completely wrong. He's a great player. And maybe we're hating on him because we only seen him as a big, and now he's going to prove he can do a shooting guard. But he has to understand he's a smart enough man to understand there's got to be a question mark by his name because he's playing a different role now. He's playing with one of the best shooting guards in the league, but now he's going to have to be more of a distributor where before he was you feed the big man, he eats. I am Beastie, K for Keebler, 1 mil for I am Beastie, 1.5 for K for Keebler. Quan Boy at 500K, G Money I said at 3 mil, White Eye Fresh 500K, Melo B Ballin for 2.5. It's Lucifer Foe or whatever 500K. He's another one we weren't sure for.
Lukier.
Yeah, whatever that guy. Oh, Lewis 510. We had him on the show last week. Great guy. I wish him the best, and I hope we're wrong with the preseason rankings here. But little man F50 at gmail.com. I don't know why someone where it says username would put their email address. That's retarded. That dude's getting a bunch of porn mail from me. I guarantee it. I'm just gonna go sign up on a bunch of sites under his name. 1.5 mil and no autographs at 4 mil. Looking at this roster, is there anything we really need to know that I haven't already mentioned? Texas James, what do you think?
This is the way I see this team. This team is up or down. You don't really know what you're getting out of this team just because there's a lot of I don't knows here. I don't know if G Money's going to be what they're looking for at Harden. I've never seen G Money at the wing before. I don't know if they're going to put a flex on G Money, which they still have available to them, and put him down in the paint. They have a lot. They have a lot here that they can do with Melo Ballin's the beast. Melo B. Ballin's nice. G Money, he could be a savage. I mean, he has that winner mentality. You know what I mean? He's a guy that you want on your team no matter what. He could come out and be great. Harden is one of the best wingers in the game, and he's doing incredible things this year in real life. So he's probably just going to keep getting better. Keebler's good. Beastie's reliable, but I mean, there's just a lot of question marks here that with G's the main factor here. I mean, if he goes out there and balls out, good. If he goes out there and they put him at flex and goes to center, good. But if he doesn't, that's a lot of money on a wing that you can't get back, and that could be a problem because that's the main key on Houston. Is James Harden going to do enough? That's going to be a question for these guys this season.
Yeah, he's got to be the superstar, and unfortunately, that weight now rides on G Money to hold that position because I know there's other guys there that want it. And also, I mean, who doesn't want to play the best shooting guard in the game? So we don't know. With doing this is kind of an issue here, Garbage. We can't really look at these and say, oh, these are going to be the lines. And because people can go one up or one down, it's very difficult to say, oh, this line or that line is strong or this line strong, unless we already know previously or spoke with an owner. So all we can really look at is the roster and grade them. I mean, we gave these guys a C-. Like I said, they probably could move to a C, maybe even a C+ based on where they're at here with the roster. But setting at this spot, which is the 7th spot, which is the 4th worst team in the league, would you agree with that, Garbage? What do you think?
It is kind of difficult to grade them right now because I would like to see the Lions first. But I think they got some solid players to play the Hardens and some good players to play the bigs on this team. With G Money, Melo B. Ballin, they have no autographs, and K for Keebler. I honestly think those guys could be pretty well or play pretty well all together. Then you have solid role players like Beastie, White Eye Fresh, and Quan Boy. not too bad. Bad News G Unit was on that team too. So I'm kind of like a wait and see mode to see what their lines look like.
Is that who that little man F50 is? His Bad News G Unit. He hasn't played any seasons, so when we were
Yes.
doing the roster, keep in mind there was two ways that we graded when we went to the roster. We went with question marks, and we removed those question marks from there. So, for instance, if we said, well, G Money, he's a question mark because he's playing at shooting guard, that hurt their score because he's never played shooting guard. We can't use any previous statistics. Little man F50 at gmail.com, which is Bad News G Unit, whatever.
G Unit, yeah.
We can only go off of what he's done in other leagues, which doesn't credit him anything here. So I can't say, oh, this guy's going to come in and ball. I've never seen him play. He has no previous statistics. So he then becomes another question mark. So there's a couple, and No Autographs is the same way, which for $4 million, I imagine No Autographs is a great player. But again, I have nothing to base that on other than hearsay. I don't have any, solid statistics for the league, no matter what he's done in other leagues, other places. So, that's kind of when we grade, we have to kind of give it. And that's the only reason I think that they're here. But again, you can move these guys up. I think we had them higher. We rewrote this, I don't know, 3 or 4 different times because we argued back and forth of, no, I think they should be moved up, or no, I think these guys should be moved down. So keep in mind, these are preseason rankings, completely wrong just based on what is. Let's move to the next one. Let's go with a number 6. The number 6 overall, or the number 6 in the power rankings, are the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, this was really hard for me and James to do because James and I are both on the same team. So, of course, we wanted to push our team up. I mean, we think we're very competitive, and we think that we can compete with anybody on this list. However, you have to take your jersey off and put on your media cap and really look at your team compared to the other teams out there. Both, like I said, James and I sit here and go, man, I think we got some steals and we got some money, but let's take our jerseys off and let's try to look at this from the outside in. Ice the Man at $500K, Schmagnum PI for $500K, Texas James at $1 million, ATS Gangster for $500K, Crash for $500K, Doghouse Mellow for $500K, Fig for $500K, Eric Dreadhead 15 for $1.5, Inglewood Made Me at $1 million. Going to garbage this time first. What do you think at where this is placed at 6, and what do you think of this team and the build that he has?
Well, a few good players. I mean, everybody hates on Mike, man, but he was not that bad of a player. You may have like passing issues, but he'll still get it done. They have Texas Smith, who also isn't very bad. Eric Dreadhead, who's
Thank you, I appreciate that.
He'd be a pretty good player. And I know people overlook you, but you'll play your role and shut up, and sometimes people just need that on a line. So there, I can see them right about there, right around 6.
Yeah.
I'm a little skeptical on Melo's line, though. That's the line I'm skeptical on.
Why do you think Melo's line will be a little skeptical? That you played them or something?
I just don't think he's a Russell Westbrook type player.
Gotcha.
I think, and this team runs through Russell Westbrook.
I agree. I think Russell is obviously the best player on this team. And he has to get everybody going around him. Looking at the Thunder, like I said, with my jersey off, Mike and Fig are easily your star players here. $9.5 million cap remaining. We rated their roster at a B only because of some of the people that we think that were cheaper, lower, whatever, but they had the 4th pick in the draft. Texas James Smith. Tell me something I don't know. What are your thoughts on the Thunder? And try to be media-ish, if that's a word.
Okay, I'm gonna be very crucial here, and I'm gonna say we left a lot of money on the table as the Thunder. Mike's my boy. We go back, and he's a great point guard. He's a great player. Little things didn't go the way we wanted in bidding. We left some money on the table, which really hurt, which I feel might hurt us in the long run. But we got a lot of wiggle room to work with moving forward. But I feel just looking at the roster in general, I feel like there's not a lot. There's a lot of reliable guys here that you could count on to be there and play and show up and do what you need and get wins. You know what I mean? We only have a few guys on this list that I see can take over. Mike, is one of them. Fig is one of them. Melo, we got Melo for a good amount of money here. You can't go wrong with a $500K player that can actually, handle the rock decently. Is he top in the league? No, of course not. But I think we're definitely playoff bound for sure. I think the main hit is I think we left a lot of money on the table in bidding, which could hurt. I think people went cheaper than what we originally expected.
Yeah, 9.5 million left. I'd have to agree. Again, looking at it from Mita, don't beat me up when I get back to the locker room team, but I'd have to agree with Texas James 100% on this. I think with that kind of money left out there, you could have really went out and made a huge impact with some of the top players in the league with 9.5. I mean, you could take Eric Dreadhead, which I like Eric, or Inglewood, whoever, 1.5 mil. You could take one of those guys. The only one is Eric Dreadhead. That's why I called him out. But you could take him off and add a JT. I mean, for what he paid for JT at 10.5. And I wouldn't pay that kind of money for JT. I like JT. I think he's great, but I don't think anybody's worth 10 mil, not in this league. But, I mean, kind of backing up, if you can't take the money home with you, you got 9.5 million. I feel he might have to make some moves. Now, Mike's not the one to make a whole lot of moves. I noticed in the previous seasons he's been owners, but he might, if certain things don't move in the direction he needs. I think Fig is an absolute steal at 500K. I mean, what are your thoughts looking at the roster the way it's laid out? And you've played, like you said, you played a couple of the lines. I know you and I played some practice games together. Garbage. Looking at the Thunder, you feel that spot at 6 is right for them, or do you think there should be moving up or down, or how do you feel about the Thunder?
I think it's about right, give or take a spot.
Okay.
Just because how the team's set up, and they did leave a lot of cap that could have went out there and got, like, you said it, a JT or a Let's Get It Boy, or they could have got Shumpert. They could have got a whole bunch of other players for didn't know what they got.
I mean, you could bring Shump in as a top point guard. I mean, I wouldn't say a top, maybe like a top 5, maybe 10, and it's arguable point guard in the league. And it's somebody that's known to be playing that position. Not have any problem with Dog Ass Mello. I played a couple games with him and he does fine. I mean, I have no problems with him personally. I just feel that for the money that you had left on the table, you could have done a little better. I'm gonna quit beating up on my team before they kick me off the team. Before I find myself on the Lakers.
I also heard that Melo's actually going to end up changing his name to Cuban's daughter after he beat him this season. So we'll see if that's true.
Wow, okay. So we'll find that Cuban's
your
daughter.
Ain't beating nothing in Oklahoma City. You better send the other line this way, son. You better
Cuban's
send the other line.
daughter.
I'm telling you.
All right.
I'm telling you.
We'll see how that is.
Well, before we talk about the number 5th team here, we have to play this awesome video here that was just given to me. This is number 5 here.
Welcome to DC. You know where you're at, the USA Cup. You're taking it slightly, so taking it slightly. Now how you gon' act, you gon' be right back, but we gon' be right here. We gon' be right here. We ain't going nowhere. Welcome to DC. I'm from the city, the district. I own up to it, but right now I got a real big bone to pick. It's the city where the people hold the power, and you can see 9 dimes every half an hour. And we crank so hard cause we be practicing, and this is just the beginning, Slim. We just scrimmages, but much love the VA and MD. That's why the new DC is the DMV. You know where you're at, the USA Cup. You're taking it slightly, so taking it slightly. Now how you gon' act, you gon' be right back, but we gon' be right here. We gon' be right here. We ain't going nowhere. Welcome to DC. Welcome to DC.
Welcome to DC, the number 5 overall here for the preseason rankings is the Thunder, Washington Wizard. You have Mags at 500K, Cuban on Xbox for 500K, I Ball So Hard 500K, Mantis for 500K, Garbage Assassin, the feared man himself, the owner, Black Mamba at 500K, Let's Get It Boy at 4.5, Space Jam at 10.5, Tortuga at 500K, and Major TMJ at 500K. Now, looking over this roster, we gave you a B, a straight B, for your overall roster. And the reason for that is because we feel, and I think I've talked to you a couple times about this, and I feel this as well, the team will be scary. You've got JT and Let's Get It Boy, who have very good chemistry together already. They play in a pro-am together. They play pickup games. They play other games together. And JT needs somebody like Let's Get It Boy, Ramo, to, help him carry the team. I think JT can do it himself, but you put somebody like JT on John Wall, and you put Let's Get It Boy on Gortat, I think together they're going to be damn scary. And you're going to put somebody like Mags around him that can support. And you put a couple other guys on that line. That could be a damn scary line at the 10th pick with, where you're standing. So I think you are arguably did your plan was very similar to like the Clippers plan, but it paid off a little better. The problem I have is the second line. It kind of, you feel you're going to be very competitive. I feel, let's say you win 25% of your games. Hopefully you win more. It's on you. But looking at it from this side, it's really big with JT. Let's Get It Boy. That other line is, like I said, it's going to be hard. They're going to win a good 75% of their games, if not more. They're going to be hard to beat. From the flip side, though, that other line I think is going to struggle. So pretty much you're going to saddle up JT and Let's Get It Boy and have them ride you into the playoffs. That's your hope, right, Garbage? That's what you're trying to do.
Well, with this team, I just wanted to get two big-name players that could just go out and carry a line and win a bunch of their games. And with the second line, which is going to be my line, I just got a few players where we may not be known as really good or anything, but we got a lot of chemistry, and I think we'll surprise a few people.
Do you think that's how many games do you feel your second line, percentage-wise, do you think you can pull off 50% of your games, or you feel it's going to be a little lower number than that?
Honestly, you shouldn't be asking me that question, because if you ask me, I'm going to go with 100% every single time.
Let's go.
All the time.
Love it. Move it over to Texas. I love it. I set you up. I want you to knock them out of the park. That was the deal. Remember I throw you easy pitches and you just knock them out of the park. So moving over to Texas, James, looking at this lineup, what were some of our thoughts when we put them at number 5?
Look, my main thoughts, why the hell did you pick up Black Mamba, bro? He is a fucking quitter. He is known for quitting. He's trash. I don't even know what made you waste $500,000 on him when there's guys in the bidding that could definitely. That was my only problem with this list, man. I talked to you before the show. I said, yo, you did a great job in bidding, but Mamba was the only issue I have with this because he's a quitter. And he is known for that, and he's gonna quit this season again. He's gonna go on IR or disappear on you. And good thing we have a free agent pool this year, so you can cover your ass when that happens. But he's gonna disappear. But overall,
can I respond on that?
Yeah, go ahead. What's up?
Well, he can go and quit, and we'll just keep on winning then.
That's okay. That's fine, because that's what we did last season. You know what I mean? So it happens.
Yeah.
You can get used to it. At least you know it's gonna happen this time. You know what I mean? At least I'm giving you a warning to prepare for that moment when he quits. So about the rest of the roster though, great job, man. Getting JT, getting Let's Get It Boy on one line. They're gonna be a dominant force in this league, hands down. Ball so hard. Is he gonna be running a point guard for you or what?
He'll be running point guard, but it has been mentioned that if he ever struggles, we can switch it around if need be.
Okay, well, he's solid. He's a solid player. I wouldn't say he's great or he's not bad. He's there. You went out and did okay, man. You spent your money well. Can't really complain. You have a good solid one line. Unfortunately, I don't feel the same about the other line. Let's Get It Boy and JT. They're gonna do a lot of good things, and I'm sure they're happy they're on each other's team. So you're looking good, man, honestly, but I wish the best of luck to you in the future. You did great in the bidding.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, I would have to agree, I think, and not only because you're on the show, but I talked to you, I think, like a couple times the other night that I think you did a really good job at bidding, picking those two up, and then also, Mags at $500K I think is a good deal. I told you to leave the bum Cuban on the side. I wouldn't have picked his. I'd have left him in the free agency, and he'd have been there if you needed him, but, as we discussed, and I think you agreed with this, is you picked the guys that you want to play with that are good players. They're not shit players. They're decent players. and guys that you want to play with and have fun with, because a lot of what the EBA is having fun and enjoying the season. And you pick guys that you want to win or lose with. I mean, if that's what it takes, but you want to play with. And then the other line, you gave the best possible opportunity to win you as many games as possible by getting guys like JT and Let's Get It Boy. I mean, would you agree with that statement?
Mags is a real nice player.
Oh,
I
yeah,
would,
Mags,
actually. Mags is also a real nice player. Another player that may surprise people is Major X TMJ.
Yeah, we don't know anything about him.
He switched his gamer tag to Burton. So in case nobody knew, it's Burton now. And he's a solid player. He'll spread the floor well and give Let's Get a Boy and JT a bunch of room to operate.
Now, where did you find Major at? Was it just some random like pickup games, or where did you find Major TMJ?
Well, he was new to the league. It's his first season in the league, and he was actually Balsahard's buddy. And Balsahard said, "Hey, I wanted to get you a guy. Let's try him out." And I tried him out for a game, and he looked real nice. So I was like, "That's a guy I could go after."
Nice.
And nobody else would know about him.
Do you have any other questions, Texas?
Yeah. How's it feel being out from trainer's shadow? How's that working out for you?
Man, I mean, we'll see. To be honest, I don't have nothing like against trainer, but it did get irritating last season with the way everything went down. I don't really want to start anything, but
what was it? Was it just like, you're tired of it not being serious, or you just wanted to do your own thing? It just you wanted to break away from that group, or what was the whole situation?
probably a little bit of everything you just said right there. I mean, he wasn't being serious in his attitude, the way how he was. It was just his attitude too. Just leave it at that.
Don't worry, you won't start nothing. Everybody feels that way about trainer. So
Yeah.
if he would start something with you, he had to start with everybody. So it's definitely he just can't take nothing serious. But we just wanted to know. Figure we had you on here, we might as well bring up the elephant in the room. That you broke
and
away,
also,
and I see you brought Manus with you without a struggle, 500K.
Tortuga.
yeah. And also, I think what was I gonna say?
We threw you off.
No, never. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean,
So
stepping out
that's
behind the
good,
shadow, I guess that's a good thing. I didn't think you guys would ever. Pink Foss is missing. He went to a completely different team, so I don't even think he went back to the Lakers, right? So there's a couple. So I guess there was some falling out among friends. I still like the way that you built, like I said, your roster. I think you guys would be a fun guys to play with. I still stand by what I said. I think your first line, even with the chemistry that you guys have, I think, first, second, whatever, I think your one line will struggle a little more than your other line. And I think JT and Let's Get It Boys up for, but I mean, they're going into that knowing that I'm sure that they're going to push through. Plus, you got a lot of guys. We talked in free agent. We will talk free agent later. You got a lot of guys that you can still. We got 1.5 million cap, so it isn't like you're tied to these players that you have here as well. And there's some teams out there with a lot of cap to move guys if you need to as well. So I think you're fine with where you're standing. I think you've probably got the best two-faced team, I guess you can call it. Like really, really good on one side and kind of ugly on the other side. But but it's moving forward here. Let's go to number 4 pick. Do you have any other questions before I move on, Texas? You good?
Yeah, I'm good, man.
Okay. Moving on to number 4, the New York Knicks we have at the 4th spot. Now, they're still missing one person, so it was struggle for me to put the Knicks this high at 4. However, I still feel, in discussing with Texas here, that they've got a B-plus roster, and the reason why they have a B-plus roster is they have Dumbia for MVP at $500K, Farah at $500K, Too Cool at $6 million, of course King Mizark's there, Rod DeBoom at $1 million, Majestic at 6.5, which was his GM going in, 1.5 in shares, LeBum, $1 million, and Just Do Numbers by $500K. I don't know who that is, so he could be one that just does numbers. Looking at this, Texas, give us some what we need to know about this team and why we gave them a B roster rank or a B plus roster rank and why they're as high as 4 here.
All right, so looking at this team, automatically the few names that stick out, you're looking at 2X Cool, Ra DeBoom, Majestic, and Doumbia. I think those are the main ones that stick out. Majority of Too Cool and Majestic. Too Cool is the guy that's been up for defensive MVP nominee, with the majority of steals and blocks under his name under the rim. Majestic is the guy that's always up for point guard of the year with his high assist numbers and his above average scoring numbers. I would say probably give or take around 15 points. Extremely high assist numbers. So he's definitely a facilitator, and he likes to crash the rim and pass. And with Derrick Rose, is going to be perfect for them. Ra DeBoom is going to be another great defensive big man presence under the rim. I think Miz did another great job in bidding. I know he really wants his brother G from Houston, which it doesn't look like that's going to happen. But I think overall that this is a very good roster, defensively solid for sure. Doumbia is going to be a good scorer for them. Like these rest of these guys are really I'm unaware of. I think Chairs, I think he's a pro-am guy. LeBum, I hear, is a role player. Just do numbers. Never heard of him before in my life. But those guys, 2X Cool, Ra DeBoom, Majestic, they're going to bring a lot of defense to this Knicks roster, and it's going to be very tough playing them on the offensive side as well.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this team, it's pretty much the same team we just won a trophy with last season, with Too Cool, Majestic, King Mizark. You add a couple good guys. LeBum was there as well, so you had a couple good guys like Doumbia for MVP, which I think is a great player, and Fuego, which is a pretty good solid for the second line there, a pretty good solid big man, center, power forward. I think you've expanded. I think there's a couple holes here that he needs to fill, and I guess he'll figure that out as the season goes. But looking at this, Garbage, I mean, we put them one step above you. Do you feel that way about the Knicks? Like, looking at this roster, they're going to be a hard team to try to go up against?
Well, I feel about them like how you guys feel about my team. They're going to have one solid line. I think a Mizark's line with him, Too Cool, Ra, Majestic, and I think LeBum will be on that line. I think that line is going to be one of the top lines in the league. And the second line, that's a huge question mark with me because they don't have their fifth person on that line. Plus, I don't see anybody that can, like, just take off and take over. So they're just a team that's going to have, like, one really solid line and just probably a bad line, in my opinion.
So do you think they have the two-faced look as well? I don't know their line set up the way it is, but looking at these guys, I mean, if they spread some of this talent out, they can have two solid lines if they spread it out. I mean, there's only so many superstars to go around, and I hate Derrick Rose ever since he left Chicago, so he's not considered a superstar in my eyes, but you still got a three is really hard to play with, but if you could put a couple dominant people on that four, and we've seen in previous EBA seasons, if you could put a couple superstars that are completely dominant at Porzingis, it could be over. I mean, he's absolutely broke. He does amazing things in the paint and outside the paint. I mean, his shot's ridiculous. I feel they've got a pretty good shot here. I think that's why we left him at 4, a lot to do with the roster and the roster he's building. If the lines come out and that's the way they are, I think I would have to agree with you that there's a lot of question marks on that second line. Needing one player, it was a struggle to put them this high. Any last thoughts on the Knicks, Texas?
I just don't see how you put 2X Cool and Ra on the same line when you got two Porzingises. I think you switch those guys. I think you put one on one line and one on the other line, because we know that a good Porzingis can carry a team to a win. And I'm sure that anybody that's played GMB Stunner or Woody that's had Porzingis last season, or was it last season or the season before?
Season before.
They were very, very dominant with those players, and they can win with them. And these guys are both better than both of those guys, in my opinion. So, if you give both of them Porzingis, I think you're gonna have your handful no matter what's around them in general.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, would you see any other different views there, Garbage?
I don't know, just pretty much what I just said, how I think they're going to have one great line and the other line is going to be a huge question mark.
Well, we'll have to see there at the 4 in preseason ranking.
I just can't see I can't see Ra or Too Cool playing the 5 there. I just can't. I can't see it, man.
Well, I mean, if they, like I said, if they spread their talent, I know last season Majestic went to one side and King Mizark went to the other team, and both lines were very competitive. Of course, they had the Clippers, but still, they were playing with the backup from CP3, Rivers or whatever, which he did some amazing things. But still, you split those guys up, you split some of this talent up, you could have two lines that are very scary, and it takes a lot of pressure off that other line. But again, there's still one missing spot here. We don't know the full roster. Seeing what they've built thus far, they can throw any of those 500K players that I have. I think they have 1.5 million left, but they don't need to spend it because nobody else needs to pick. But they could throw any of those free agents here, even on our steals and deals, and still be very competitive. Moving on to the next team, we have at third Utah Jazz. Now with this, I struggled a bit putting Utah Jazz at 3 only because they're the Jazz. However, looking over at the roster that they've built, I thought, man, you put the Utah Jazz on any of these other teams we're talking about with this roster, they would be pretty damn scary with who they have on their team. They have Call Me Kyle at 500K, Eastern, of course, the Money Team at 500K, Montana FDU at 500K, the Realist at 5.5, Franchise at 6 mil. It used to be Mama something, or Illuminati Mama or something like that. Easy Money Sniper at 1.5, Hot Shot at 4.5, and XX Gotti at 500K, and Packers 12 to 85 at 500. Packers is the only one I don't really know in this group of guys, so he was the only real question mark for me. But every other position, they're solid. The thing about the Utah Jazz, and I talked a little bit with Realist recently, we've been in parties, and you have to play as a team. You can't just horsey up and ride one guy like you do with the Rockets riding the 2, or the Thunder riding the 1. You have to. One guy is not going to pull it all off. You have to really work as a team and work the ball around, which I think this group of guys can do really well. That's why we put them at the 3 spot. And the West is so weak, I think they're easily going to be at the top of their division. Looking at this, with no cap remaining, Eastern is a repeat owner. He's been an owner in the past. He knows you spend everything you have, and then you work from there. We gave his roster ranking an A-, so just a barely step above that 4th and 5th spot there. Only because he has some, again, the franchise I think is going to be discussed by the end of the season as an MVP. I guarantee if his mouth doesn't override his ass, he's a good player, a solid player. He's always been a solid player. I think that when you talk best players in the league, you got to kind of throw him into that conversation. If he doesn't cause a cancer on the team. So if they lose a couple key games, he could be like, I'm the MVP. It just, you can keep shutting the fuck up, give him the ball, he's going to do work. Hot Shot, if he doesn't quit on him, I mean, there's a couple question marks here and there, but other than that, would you agree, Garbage, that this roster is probably one of the better built rosters?
I think they're the best roster in the West, hands down. With that team, even with their roster and actually the 2K team, because I think the Jazz are actually a real nice team. They got solid big Gobert, they got solid wing players, and Hayward and Rodney Hood. And at the 1, I heard they're going to be using Alec Burks, so I could be a little skeptical about having the franchise on Alec Burks. But I think they're hands down the best roster in the West right now.
Yeah, I couldn't argue with that a little bit one way or the other. I think, like I said, the Jazz team is the only way that brought them down from my 2 spot, because I easily had them at the 2. What do you think, Texas? I mean, of course you feel like that's where they belong because we discussed it many times, but what do you think about this team in total? Give me your feedback on the Jazz.
In general, I think this team is very, very strong. I mean, you got Hot Shot, which is a returning big that we've seen dominate this league before, but the problem is, will he stay? Easy Money Sniper can carry a team pretty solidly. Realist, the franchise, I've heard he was a great point guard. Heard he's been a top point guard in the league, even been an MVP running before. Has never played in the EBA in this 2K that I can recall. Not since I've been commissioner.
No, he's not.
I have never seen this kid.
We haven't seen him in the league here until before previous, but he's a solid player. Like I said, if his mouth doesn't overrun his ass, he's actually a really, really good player.
I mean, you call me Kyle. He can be. He's good on the glass, I guess. Eastern average player. You got some good guys here. I mean, you got everybody that can help. I mean, Ant Gotti's an underrated guy. He's a good player. He has great court IQ. There's nothing wrong with this roster at all. The only question mark on this roster would have to be Packers 12 to 85, and that's only because we haven't heard of him. For all we know, he could be the next best thing.
Yeah,
I don't know, but overall, this roster looks solid. You got Gobert, which is. He's a mammoth of a human being. The dude is huge. So They're looking solid in the paint, which is something you need in this 2K.
Yeah, and these group of guys, I can see them working together. Like I said, they're all pretty reasonable guys to get along with. So there's only like a couple question marks within this team, and I think that holds them here at the 3rd spot. But they could easily jump to that 2, maybe even take over the 1 this season if they can. They can prove me wrong and show that the Jazz are a power to be reckoned with. The number 2 spot, though, we have here actually. 2, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers. Now, I made the mistake last season putting the Cavs high, Texas, and they fell a little bit throughout the season. However, when we went back, we had the Cavs a lot lower than this. But when we went back and looked at it, their star playing is like Irving. They've got some really good players. Now, how they're going to play with the Cavs, now keep in mind the Cavs roster I feel is better than the Jazz roster on 2K. But here, the number 1 pick, Cleveland Cavaliers got Z actually, of course, he's the owner. Woody V2 at 500K, which that's ridiculous. Revolves at 500K. Ridiculous. Again, CW 24, 3 mil, Budweiser Beast 1 mil, Zabriel 2 mil, Pink Fawcett 2 mil, 500K for Kobe and 2.5 for Irving, and then Krazix for 500K. Looking at this roster, it's not a bad roster. We gave them an A- right with the Jazz overall when we started looking at what these guys are averaging in the seasons with multiple seasons underneath them. We were really surprised. How their lines are going to work out, I have no clue. Again, I can only go off of what rosters are there, what they're averaged in the past. Can they work together? There's a lot of other question marks with the team like any other. But what do you feel about putting them at the number 2 garbage? Do you feel like I shot them too high here with Cleveland?
Way too high. I think they're all overrated, pretty much, in my opinion. I don't think Irving can do much without a screen, and if he doesn't get a screen, I feel like that's a lost profession for him. Zabriel, I don't accept going with Zabriel. CW just cherry picks all game, and you just get back, you stop him. I heard they're gonna have troubles with Woody trying to play LeBron. I heard there's controversy about him playing LeBron, so they're trying to get new LeBron playing with him. It'll be interesting, but I think they're way too high at number 2.
Yeah, we struggled back and forth. Woody, if we minus his, I played a couple games I played maybe 2 pickup games with him. And if he can hold his attitude in check and actually play, he's shown by playing on someone like Porzingis that he can put up the numbers needed. I think he dropped like 50 points a game or something ridiculous. He can actually do well if he can play LeBron and play LeBron good. Revolves is a repeat owner. I mean, he's been owner multiple times in this league, averages 20 plus points a game. If you go in and look at each of these guys' averages, there's no major name that sticks out like a JT or Let's Get It Boy or a Fab or a Dimes or anything like that kind of sticks out in the league. But all around, they're all solid players. I think that's why we agreed to have them this high. Texas, I mean, what are your thoughts on the Cleveland Cavaliers?
This is the risk that we really took putting them up this high. We went back and forth a lot on this one. We had them really low, and then they slowly climbed, and then we dropped them again, and we brought them back up. The thing with this, and the reason why we have them this high, is because there's no bad player on this team. Z actually might be the worst player on the team, and he's just average or whatever, but he's I don't know. The line is good. You got Woody, he's a good player. Revolves is a good player. CW is a good player. Budweiser's a good player. Zabriel's a good player. These guys are not bad players. There's not a bad player here. And Irvin's a great point guard with screen or not. You get the man a screen or whatever you want to call it. He's gonna score for you, especially with Kyrie. The only problem here is just the inexperience as ownership is the biggest worry. They have the Cavaliers, so they're going to be ranked a little higher than these other teams, even if the rosters, a little bit, if their user roster a little bit better or not. This is completely preseason. I see in the EVA chat a lot of people are getting butthurt, but it is what it is. If you want a better ranking, draft a better team. You know what I'm saying? These guys, I feel like these guys are going to be solid. They're going to be probably up in their division somewhere 1 or 2, as long as the roster stay the same. So we'll see what happens, but that's.
Well,
That's how I feel.
and looking through this roster, this is what I want to point out, and this is something we went through. If we're getting butthurts out there, the 15.68 points a game Woody has averaged over playing 6 seasons. No matter where he's played, what he's played, he's averaging over 15 points a game. Z actually is averaging 10 points a game. Revolves is averaging 20 points a game with 6 seasons played. CW with 5 seasons played is averaging 21 points a game. Budweiser Beast is averaging 12 points and 10 rebounds a game, 13 points and 10 rebounds a game. Zabriel is averaging 14 points a game. I mean, these guys, Pink Fossa is averaging 13 points a game and 9 rebounds. This is their career statistics, guys. I'm just going off of what we've seen. Kobe's offering 14.17 points per game in his 4 seasons played. The Irving, which everybody gives Irving shit for, he's averaging 16 points a game for his 6 seasons played. I don't like the kid. I'm not saying I want to be his friend. I'm just basically, and this crazy kid, this Krazix kid's averaging 13 points a game, 4 assists. I mean, they're all low turnover ratios. I'm trying to go statistic wise when we're looking at this, and basically, I just pulled those numbers up because that's the reason why we have them this high. I could be wrong here, and prove me wrong. I don't mind being wrong, but it's all preseason, brother. So prove us wrong. Any last thoughts you have on the Cleveland Cavaliers?
Well, I do want to say something. People say stats don't lie, but they do not tell the whole story.
You're right. No, you're right. And they don't tell the whole story. But that's realistically, that's all we can go off of. If I hit Woody because he's hard to deal with in parties, or I've heard in the past he's been cancer to teams. If I hit him because of that, because for whatever reason, I mean, I'm then bringing something off of the statistics. I have to go one way or the other. I do use some of my mental intelligence. I'm going to say that when I look at these teams, and we moved Cleveland up. We had them a lot lower to start. We had them pretty low, and I was like, dude, look, the roster's not that bad. And we went back and forth a few times. I probably, now looking at it, should have them at 2, but they can prove me wrong. They could hold that spot. Cleveland itself is a solid team. I don't know why people are sleeping on Cleveland. It's a number 1 pick. By far, you put decent players around those superstars. I would rather have decent players around superstars than have superstars around garbage-ass players. They're not going to stick around in this league. They don't get paid to be there. These superstars are going to get pissed off because they're having to play with D'Angelo Russell, which is probably the best superstar on that team, and they're gonna leave after they get slapped by somebody that they shouldn't be slapped by. I've seen it. But moving on, Cleveland Cavaliers number 2. So that leaves the one and only ranked team left, the New Orleans Pelicans. You have Recalibrates, shooting guard at $500K, Fab at $6 million, One Wild Walnut at $2 million, Fredo Wavy at $2 million, Dimes, of course, owner, Eurostep at $2 million, J-Dub at $500K, Gradient Dig at $2 million, By Any Means Mo at $1 million, Ayo at Mark at $500K. Star players, of course, are Fabs and Dimes. Cap remaining, they have about $500K space left, I believe, and they're done. We gave this roster rank an A+. We think that this roster has good throughout all of it. Based on the bidding, you put this roster on just about any team. I think they're going to be just as competitive as they're going to be with the Pelicans. The only issues that I see with the Pelicans, and this is the only knock I'm going to have, is what 2K is doing with them. They took, I can't remember that. I remember the guy's name and now I can't. They took him off of the roster just recently, and he was like an 87 3-point or something. He was something ridiculous, and his shot was Green City. They took the first Drew and they moved him to 2, so they've got to make some moves in order to get together. But if they can figure out, a lot of these guys have played together, Fredo Wavy, Wild Walnut, they've all played with Fab and Fab's line. If they can move some things around. Also, you have Dimes moving to the 5, which may, put By Any Means Mo at the point guard. So when you start talking things like that, don't get me wrong, I think Dimes can play any position probably better than most people can play the positions, because he's just a good all-around player, and I'm not dick riding, it's just the way it is. He's Mr. 50K himself. So from that point, with the roster moves, the biggest issue I see with the Pelicans is there's way too much bravado. Like, you're going to have some monster dick slinging going on in these chats and in these games. If they lose a few games, I feel sorry for this team. I doubt they will because they've got such a strong roster. But I mean, I have them at number 1. Texas James Smith, I know you agree with me here because you originally had them at number 1. That's one of the ones we didn't argue about. What do you feel about the Pelicans, and what do you see your strengths and weaknesses moving forward?
Obviously the strength here is you got Fab, you got by any means Mo, which might be, we'll talk about that later. But you have these guys that can take over games for you. And you got the role players around them. I mean, you got 50K out here, dimes. I mean, when a person wins 50,000 real life dollars playing a video game, he can play where the fuck he wants to play. I'm just saying. I mean, let's keep it 100. And if the dude wants to play fucking center, let him play fucking center, man. It's his team. He took ownership. He gets to do what he wants. So if he could ball out with AD or Boogie or whoever he wants to play on, then so be it. But I do feel that if you see them losing games, Dimes will go back to the 1. Now the rest of the team, you saw that I hear Recalibrates don't have 2K no more. We're waiting to see a blacklist coming on him or see it get worked out. You got players like One Wild Walnut, Fredo, Euro Step. J-Dub's a question, not really sure about him. Grady and Dig, Ayo, all great players that you can have around talent, and that's exactly what you're looking for if you want to win this game. And they're big man dominated roster on 2K, and that's what this 2K is all about. So we'll see what happens.
I mean, they really spread the money out, I think, better than almost any other team. I mean, there's nobody they paid outrageous money for. Other than Fab, but Fab was already pre-GM anyway at $6 million, and I think he would have easily went for that in bidding with looking at what some of these other guys went for. So looking at this from your side, Garbage, I mean, do you think the Pelicans are by far the hardest team to face in the East or in the game?
Well, I think they may be because they got Dimes and Fab on the team, and those 2 players alone can boost the team up by tremendous amounts. I mean, it's crazy how much better they can make players around them be. But I've heard they're going to be playing on separate lines. They're both going to be playing Anthony Davis, and they're both going to be playing like a point forward position with them. I kind of want to wait and see what they do with that. But have you guys ever guarded Anthony Davis before? Because I know he's probably one of the hardest players to guard in 2K, just because how fast, athletic, how big he is. He can still shoot.
Oh, he's broke.
I think it's going to be dangerous.
He's like another Porzingis.
Yeah, he's broke.
Mm-hmm.
I think that it's going to be New Orleans is going to be hard to do. I mean, once they got Boogie, once that trade went through, I said, "Oh shit, they're EBA picked easy." Like I'd pick them. One of their problems again is they're 2 and 3. But I there's a couple guys on the bench that I'm like, oh, I'd love to play. There's a guy that came from Chicago, whose Greenlight City is just broke. He's on that team. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but trust me, he's there and he's amazing.
Antoine Moore.
Yeah, Antoine Moore. He's awesome. I love him. He's Greenlight City anywhere you want to go with him. And so guys like that, because it's 2K, can help boost your team. And I've always said this, I don't know if Fab needs to play on a superstar in order to be successful. I think one of his best seasons was on Rondo, where he was mainly defensive based and he pushed everybody around him. I think I was averaging like 14 points with Corey Brewer, because he was hitting me in the corner, making me step up. And no, I'm not his son, but I will tell you that him and Dimes do need to split. I think that Fab and Dimes do need to split different rosters and pick the guys they want to play with and build around them. And I think they're going to be very scary this season. I doubt they'll come off that number 1 spot only if they have, like I said, their bravado problem. They've got a lot of guys in there that don't like to take orders well, that can't play a role, that want to be a superstar, that think that they're better than what they are. And sometimes when you get a lot of guys in that in a locker room, sometimes you can bump heads. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully Dimes and Fab can keep it together and continue to dominate at that number 1 spot, and Dimes can get him his first, come right off of a $50,000 reward into a first EBA championship. Any last thoughts on the number 1 there, Texas James?
No, man. I think honestly, personally, I think they're gonna have number 1 spot all season long. I'd be surprised if they didn't.
I mean, the first game's against the Los Angeles Lakers. Talk about people quitting that game. Holy crap.
Yeah, that might not be too
Yeah.
good.
If you haven't got any trades requests, you sure will after that game is played. So looking on, let's move on to the next step here. Move the show right along. Any last thoughts on that power rankings? Anything else that we want to discuss?
No, like I said, I think the Cavs are too high, and I think you guys are sleeping on the Trailblazers. Those are like the main things I think.
We definitely could be, and we were wrong last season. The Cleveland fell 4, and I think Boston rose 4. So we were off 4 spots from preseason to the end season on a couple, but majority of the teams we were right on. Of course, it's difficult to do this when you're just looking at rosters because you don't know a lot of the things that make a team a team. I mean, the lines have a lot to do with it. Who's playing where, when,
No doubt.
That has a lot to do, and not only that, but
who's playing what role?
Exactly, and can he play that? How well he plays that role? There's a lot of question marks that go into actually chemistry. Chemistry's huge. That a lot of people
Are
don't.
there going to be attitude problems with that line?
Exactly. There's a lot of things that you can't add and subtract when you're looking at just statistics and line, and team building and the teams that they have. Because we're taking 2K statistics, what they rank the team in 2K. We're taking what they've done in previous seasons, what question marks are on their team, and we're trying to work all that in. And Cleveland had the less question marks when it comes to the 2K team itself, and also the people that's on that team. As I said, mentioned multiple people. So like I said, we could be wrong, and if we're wrong, prove us wrong. We talked before. I shot you a question. I said, hey, what do you think? Where do you think you fall? And you said, I think I'm about 5 with my team. I could be a little higher based on how we perform, but I think we're a good 5. And you were right on. So moving on to steals and deals. This is our new segment called Steals and Deals, where we're going to do 2 different types of steals and deals. We usually look at the free agency and look at the steals and deals around there. We're going to do that, but let's first, since we're coming right out of the bidding and we're looking at these rosters, let's talk about steals and deals that happened during the roster. And no, you don't want to see my Skype. You want to see the steals and deals page. Here we go, and there we go. So looking at that, we have steals and deals in bidding. Now we made a list here. I'm going to pick one. I'll go from the top. One of my favorite steals, and I won't steal one that we discussed that we both agreed on, I think is revolves with Cleveland, as I mentioned just a little while ago. I think that's a steal at $500K. I think if you can get anybody that's been an owner and understands how to get lines together and struggle with the struggles that he's been through with the teams he's been on, I think it's a positive thing. The fact that he can release all that stress now and just show up and play when he's supposed to play and still puts up good numbers like he has in the past. He wasn't an owner because he was garbage. He was an owner because he wanted to step up and help the league. So at $500K, revolves, I think, is a steal for my eyes.
Definitely a steal, 100%. Since you went for a steal, I'll go ahead and call out a deal that and for those of you that are watching, we feel that a deal is somebody that's in the ballpark of what they're worth, but it's a little bit cut back money, and I feel that Shump. I feel Shump is a deal. I feel like he's a $4.5 to $5 million player, maybe give or take. And he got picked up for $3.5 million at the Clippers. I think that's a deal. By no means is it a steal, but I think you got a valuable player for a reasonable price, even maybe a little bit underpaid. So I think $3.5 million is a good price for Shump.
Yeah, I think if I'm putting Shump on my team, I would pay 3.5 for him. That's a deal for him, and I think it's even a bigger deal because what he has to carry this season. I think that's a bigger deal. You're putting a lot of weight for 3.5 mil on him. Do you have one garbage that you feel is a steal or a deal? We still have a long list here, but I want to give you a chance before I take them all. Do you have any that you feel is a steal or a deal before I rate the whole list here?
Well, definitely, I think Mags, of course, he's on my team. I think he's a steal because past few seasons he's been playing really well. He's been playing like either borderline All-Star or he even could have been All-Star a few times. But I only got him at $500K, and that's a really good deal because he's a smart player. He'll play his role.
Averages a double-double.
He
He actually averages a double-double in his seasons that he's played. So for $500K, that's...
Not many people do that.
Oh, that's pretty bad. I mean,
Yeah,
that's pretty.
we
so.
definitely I definitely agree. We have him down as a deal. I feel that Mags goes for about anywhere from 1 mil to 1.5 mil. I think 500K is good. It's a little bit less than what he's worth. I definitely feel like that's a deal.
I don't, if I was the Clippers, I would be sad I missed out on that at 500K. I would have easily put another
Definitely
500K
500K.
and put him on a DeAndre, and he would have done work on DeAndre for me.
Definitely a reliable guy.
Yeah.
Definitely a reliable guy that you can count on in and out. I mean, he says he'll be there. He'll be there.
Well, enough about Max because he's absolute garbage. Moving on to another one of my steals that I had up here, or our steals, I guess we should say, because we made the list together, is MC Sticks at 500K. I think that's a steal. Yes, he went to the Lakers, poor guy at the Lakers, but MC Sticks for 500K, I think he was averaging 20 plus points a game so far in his career in the EBA. For 500K, dude, sure, we'll take that one. I'll give you the next one here because you've mentioned him a couple times, but go ahead. Texas.
Definitely the MC on the MC Sticks though. Back at him, he's a real chill guy too. He's not a locker room problem. He'll put up points for you. Definitely a steal. I'm gonna go with one of my teammates, maybe one of the biggest steals in the league if he stays active, and that's Fig. Everybody around the league knows that Fig is a great big man. He's I probably shouldn't have said Fig because of previous statements that I made, but
I was gonna take that one from you, so you're oh my god.
As I was talking, I
So
was
for
like,
500K,
"Damn it,
the question that everybody wants to know for
Oh
500K,
my
does
goodness.
Fig
Okay,
rattle your world?
okay.
Does he rattle your world for
Oh
500K?
my goodness,
Does he
dude.
shake it up for you, baby? At
Can I
500K?
change my pick?
No, you're stuck with him.
did
I
not just
I
say
was
that.
I was gonna take Fig from you, so you didn't look like such the great hand jerking teammate that you would just. I mean, oh my god! Every time I try to make you look less
fuck it,
gay, you
man.
fuck up and look at that. So Fig
You're
500K.
right. You know what?
Would you
Fuck it.
would you agree with that?
One of the biggest steals in the draft, man. He's by far a dominant big man in this league. He deserves to be down as a steal. Yeah, you know what? Fuck it. I probably should have went with another name, but he's blue now. He's blue. He's blue for OKC. So gotta call out my teammate, man. Definitely a steal. Definitely one of the better big men in the league, hands down.
Well, not trying to take your turn while jerking him off, but I agree with that statement that Fig is better than a 500K player. I've played now, I think, 4 games with him, 3 games maybe, and I've never. He's different than any other big man. Most big men, when they pull down the rebound, I can tell you this: I played with G Money, which is arguably one of the best big men. I played with Let's Get It Boy. I've played with Hot Shots. I've played with some really, really good big men in the game. And for Fig, who's actually sending me an invite to chat right now, for Fig, he pulls down a rebound, and if he gets collapsed on, he will pass you the ball. As a 2 or a 3, you don't know how important that is when you're standing there watching your guy collapse after you pull down the rebound to not see it. But he looks to pass out. That's rare. Extremely. Bags is another guy that does that a lot, which is extremely rare.
Very few bigs do that.
Oh yeah, they pull it down. I'm telling you right now, when I was playing with G Money, he pulled that down. I was heading the other way. I just ran to the other side of the court because either he's gonna dunk it or it's gonna bounce off and they're gonna get it, and I'm way out the other. But I was playing 2 or 3 there, so. And my guy's darting out
And he
anyway.
was playing DeAndre.
Yes, and he's playing DeAndre. So I mean, give or take, but still, majority of the big men, when they come down with it, they're going to take it back up. 1-on-1, 2-on-1, 3-on-1, they don't care. And I'm even
And
bad
not
about
only
that.
big men.
Yeah, most
I'm gonna
majority
have
of
to
the
disagree,
players.
man. I have to disagree with that because I'm thinking about it, because I don't do it. I don't just rebound and go up. I know that Garbage here doesn't do it because I played like 5 or 6 scrim games with him this offseason. I mean, there's a few out there that will, man, but I got to disagree. I don't think majority do.
I think
I don't
majority of the
think
best
majority
big men
of
in
them
the
do.
league will pull down that rebound and go right back up with it. Whether it's a pump fake, whether it's a turnaround shot, very few look to pass first. And I would say Fig is one of those guys that will pull down as he's going up for the rebound. He's already looking at who's collapsing, and that's rare. And I'm not dick riding Fig. There's very few guys out there that do it. I know I played a few games with a couple other guys that do it as well, but it's extremely rare in this league. Trust me, I played 2 and 3, and I've played in this league for 4 or 5 seasons. it doesn't happen very often. Not with some of the best big men in the league. But of course, who do you want to have the ball? You're paying a guy $6-7 million to pull down the rebound, have him go back up with it. That's the closest shot you're gonna get. I understand, but it's rare to see, and it kind of threw me off a few times. I was heading back the other way, and he's throwing me a pass, and I'm almost half court. So, that's something that I will give you on Fig. By any means, Mo, I'm going to throw this one out. I'm taking this one from you because you didn't do it. At $1 million, to me, is an absolute steal, probably the steal of the draft. For those of you who don't know, By Any Means Mo was Rookie of the Year last year, am I correct?
Yep, and All-Star.
And an All-Star.
Second team All-Star.
Second team All-Star, Rookie of the Year, By Any Means Mo at $1 million is a steal. He's a $2.53 million player all day long. All day long.
Shit, easy.
3.5, yeah, 3.5, 4 maybe.
Yeah.
And for them to pick him up,
the dude's a game changer.
Yeah, for them to pick him up By Any Means Mo, for nobody else to come at him, I'm extremely surprised. Especially with the people that got really cheap point guards. That guy, I would have definitely went a little bit more on a steal. Do you have another one, Garbage, that you can think of that you feel is a steal or a deal?
I don't know. I like to see. It's interesting because I can see a few players on the Lakers being a steal or deals even, but then again, it's the Lakers. But
is it a steal when you got to send them an "I'm sorry" card that you're on the Lakers? I don't know. I don't know if that's a real thing.
How about this? It'll be a steal after they request a trade, so they'll trade for a cheap player for them.
Yeah, there you go. Whatever team they get on, then that's a steal. I've got Doumbia as well at $500K, which is New York Knicks $500K steal. I think Doumbia for MVP at $500K is huge.
I think going back to Washington, I think Let's Get It Boy. I think that's a deal. I think with Let's Get It Boy, I think you easily should be paying $6 to $7 million for him, and you get him at $4.5 million when you got a guy like Hotshot that's out there that went for the same amount of money. And Let's Get It Boy is by far better than him.
Returning MVP.
So I think 100% MVP. Yes. At $4.5 million when he should be at like 6 or 7. I think that's definitely a deal. In my eyes, for sure.
I agree. That's a deal, almost a steal.
Yeah, and plus people view him as like the actual best 2K player.
Mm-hmm.
So actually best 2K team-up player. That's what I've heard.
Well, that's frustrating. You could have teamed him up with Shump on the other side over there, and with all that cap he had, he could have stole him from you. I don't see why he didn't. Over there in the Clipperland steal Let's Get It Boy and team him up with Shump, and them two just do work over in with DeAndre and CP3. So that's I agree, that's a deal. The money team from Utah, I think the money team at $500K, I think that's a deal. I think you got him at a really good value at $500K over in Utah. I think that the money team is a better player than $500K. Anybody else you have? Texas. Sorry, I lost train of thought there. Or even anybody. Just shoot out steals, deals.
I think Farrah. I think that's a deal for the Knicks. I think he's a 1.5 to 2 million player. I think he's like averaging 14 points, 13 rebounds a game. They got him for $500K, which is minimum for a solid player. I think that's definitely a deal in my eyes.
I agree. I agree 100%.
I got a couple.
Go ahead, shoot. Who do you got?
I think both the Houston Rockets Hardens are going to be pretty good. I think with G Money and Melody Ball, I think those are pretty good deals for them.
Yeah, I guess maybe. The problem is G Money is a solid player, but he's never played shooting guard, so he's a question mark. At that money they got him, is he a deal? I don't know. I mean, he is because they still have the ability to throw it. If he doesn't work out, they can throw the tag on him and move him to somewhere where he's more comfortable. Or they could always trade him, I guess, as well. But what you can't do is tag him, move him, and then trade him, and then get the value of a center out of him. That's not that you can't do that. So
no.
So yes, kind of, but maybe not. I agree with Melo. Melo's a good deal. We also have here to kind of stay home a bit here. I'll take one of these off the list for you. That way, so you don't look like you're riding the team too hard. I think Crash 24 for $500K. Even though he's a Lesbian and Gay Basketball Association player, I think Crash 24 at $500K is a deal at OKC. There's a lot of 500K players I look at and go, man, they really should have.
I think Crash is averaging like 17 points a game, or somewhere along those lines. So he's definitely a deal for 500K. I think he's a one to $1.5 million player.
I agree with that. I think he's a 1.5 easy. Crash should be with putting up those kind of numbers, especially since he's not really playing on a major superstar. You could always give him one and watch him go to work. And he's a good, smart player and a good guy to get along with too. So I mean that all helps. Let me see. Is there any more here? Let's go with whereas. I think he's a
weird
steal.
ass.
Yeah, weird ass is a weird ass. 1 mil for Portland. That's a steal, dude. I don't know if you look at the numbers. He's putting up 20 plus points a game. Again, stats could lie, but you got to go off of what you have here. And at Portland to put up that kind of those kind of numbers and to be on Portland with shooters that could be that scary. I think he's a steal at 1 mil. I think that's a steal. Who else are we missing here? Montana, FDU. You got to mention that kid. At 1 mil, he's a deal. I think he's a deal at 1 mil. I think they did pretty well. That's about what he should go for, maybe 1.5. But I think they got a good deal on him. I think they got a good deal on him.
He's a solid player, and he's reliable. He shows up and plays.
Yeah, he's a fun guy to be in a party with, too.
But
yep.
Yeah, he definitely has a big personality.
and I want to give it dog-ass Mello, I think, for 500K is a steal as well. I think he's a 1.5 player. I've played a few games with him. I don't know if he's playing the right spot in OKC, and I feel that way, and I'm just going to be honest. But I don't think he can't live up to it either. I think that he's a solid player. He's a good guy. He wants to win, and that's really he'll do whatever it takes to win. Can he carry a team? I guess we're going to find out. But he does have Fig there, so I mean, I'm sure that together they'll be pretty scary in OKC. But 500K as a steal, I think that's a good one. Am I missing anybody? Did we hit everybody?
I think it's the buff could be a steal for the Clippers.
We talked about that too.
Yeah, we did.
I think that's more along of a deal. I think that's a deal. I think the boss could definitely be a deal in the Clippers because he's definitely a good, solid player, but he never really goes over, 1 mil to 1.5 mil. So I think it's definitely a deal for the Clippers.
Yeah, they could definitely, I think, come out ahead on that 1.5, I think, is what they paid for him. They can definitely come out ahead on that, I believe. So, I mean, I think that's the steals and deals from just looking over the bidding and looking how they done. Rating the rosters, just to kind of give you a heads up, I think the Pelicans probably did the best. Then I think the Lakers did second right there easily, if not arguably the best. So you have Pelicans and Lakers there in the A area. Cavs, I think, did really good. Jazz did great. I mean, then the B kind of mid-range, you got New York, Wizard, and Thunder did very well. The guys I think could have stepped up their bidding a bit is the Rockets, the Clippers, and the Trailblazers. I think they could have done a little better there. Would you agree with all that garbage? I mean, kind of real quick ran through it, but would you agree with?
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
I think the Thunder could have spent more.
I agree. I think that they could have spent more as well. Steals and deals for free agency edition. The free agency edition, steals and deals, which is done every week here. I'm going to pick a guy. I think he's been around for a while. I'm just going to go right off the head. He's been around 4 seasons. He unibrow beatdown, 4 seasons, 18 points per game, 4 rebounds, and 4 assists. Unibrow being in free agency is surprising. I'm going to be honest, and I even said this to before we were pre-show here. I was looking at the free agent list, and I was looking that I actually made a team, and I said, "Holy shit, dude! I shouldn't be on a team. Look at all these free agent players that are here that are probably better than me. I mean, that are better players than I am. I should probably be a free agent and have these guys be playing on a team." And then I looked a little deeper and I seen some rosters and I go, oh, never mind, I'm fine because there's some garbage on some other rosters that I'm better than. So maybe I'm okay here. But looking at the free agency, I think it's rather deep this season, especially after the case when you have to figure out who's working where and who's working. And remember, guys, any of these guys are available. So you can go out, try them a game, give them a 1-game contract if you need to fill in a spot and realize, holy shit, this guy really should be on my team. Do a call-up send-down if you need to. If you have to blacklist. These guys are available here, so some names we're going to give you. Check these guys out. They're solid players. Why they're not on a team, I don't know, because looking at some of the garbage, including myself, that are on other teams, I'm shaking my head. Like, why aren't these guys playing? Unibrow Beatdowns won 4 seasons in the league. 18 points per game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. That's what he averages out of his 4 seasons. Moving on. Source.
Yeah,
I mean,
letting everybody know what we're talking about here is guys that did not get a bid in the bidding. So with the free agent pool, any one of these guys can just be picked up by any of y'all. If y'all want to do a call-up, send down, a blacklist, if somebody has to go on IR, any of these guys can be picked up. And another guy that's on this list that I think actually might be the only guy that's averaging a double-double on this list is GMB Stunner.
Yeah, you're absolutely
played
right.
on Porzingis last season, I believe, and
Got power forward of the
he
year,
balled.
didn't
Yeah, power forward of the year, man. We got the power forward of the year in free agency right now. Power forward of the year sitting in free agency.
Okay,
I mean,
if I'm sitting here
500K
right now,
500K.
I'm over here. My name is
Power
Master
forward.
Quickie, and I'm on the Clippers. I'm looking like I'm hungry. I'm going to get GMB Stunner. I'm going to get a big man that's going to dominate. I'm sorry, I just am. I'm going to drop one of my
Absolutely.
friends or one of my boys, and I'm going to get GMB Stunner, the power forward of the year. And he did that with Porzingis, which, yes, it is Porzingis, but if you can give him somebody
It is
like
Blake.
DeAndre or
Blake.
Blake, oh my God, he can do just as much. Just as much. Give him
500K.
he deserves
for
to be on a
power
team.
forward of the year.
He deserves to be on a team.
Absurd. And I believe Unibrow Beatdown was when he EBA Finals MVP, I believe, for Carroll. Wasn't that him? When
Yes.
they went to the finals.
Yes,
Yeah.
Unibrow beatdown. Yeah, he's solid, dude. I don't know why he's not on a team either. He's 18 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. I don't know if he has an attitude problem or people don't like him. I don't know, but he should be on a team. You guys want to make EBA more competitive? This list that we're listing out, these are guys that should be on a team, and I'll bow to a lot of these guys saying they're better than me. Some of these, there's a couple of them we picked in here that but there's a lot of these guys that we're about to name off are guys that, like I said, I'd bow out. I'd be like, hey, these guys, I don't blame you for sending me down. This guy's a better player than me. So you got Unibrow beat down, 18 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. You said GMB Stunner, power forward of the year at 14 points, 10 rebounds, averaging a double-double. He should easily be 500K, especially how some of these
500K power forward of the year, man.
Army Vet
Can't go
Steve.
wrong with that.
Army Vet Steve's only got 1 season under his belt. Averaged 13 points and 4
he? He
assists.
was an all-star last year, right?
He was an all-star, I think, last year. 13 points, 4
I believe he
assists.
did get All-Star.
Army stall vet. Why is he sitting on the bench? I don't know. Free agent. What's good is these guys can all play for just about whoever. If someone's slipping up this year, I mean, they might be slipping up in the free agency. So
Let's go with the highest points per game we have here, Sourcey. He got a bad rap for Carroll a few seasons ago, but I'm telling you right now, I played with the dude last season. I don't know if he's just changed or what, but the guy is not a bad guy. He has a great shooting percentage, 18 points per game. Put him in, coach. He's here. He's ready. If y'all have somebody that is not worth the money or the skill to be on the floor for you, Sourcey's another guy that can step in. He's a good wing player. He can step in. He can play the star. He can play the shooter. He's versatile. Get him in a shot.
18 points per game, 5 rebounds. That's what he's averaging. Has 4 seasons under his belt, too, so he's not a rookie coming off the bench green. He understands how the league works. Bama's another guy, 6 seasons. Only 12 points per game, 6 rebounds. But, I mean...
But a reliable guy.
Oh, yeah. Easy, reliable guy. He's played 80 games, I think, so 6 seasons under his belt. He's a solid player. 12 points per game, 6 rebounds. That's a 500K player, yes, but
I mean,
free agent
anytime
list.
you break 80 games, that's a reliable guy.
Yeah.
I mean, 80 games played in 6 seasons is definitely somebody you can count on to be there if he says he's going to be there. 12.6 rebounds, it's not the greatest, but he's a guy that'll show up if you're having issues with availability. Give the man a shot. 80 games played, that's a big digit.
Another guy, I told him I would give him a shout out, and I know you should give him a shout out because he's been playing a lot with us when we just hop up and pick up games. Garbage, but Shackle Chip 2, which is a shitty name for him, but it's actually Mr. Shutdown. He's a decent player, averaging 14 points per game in 2 seasons. I see some of these guys that are playing power forward, and I go, dude, this guy's just as good as these guys. Why is he not on a team? He's kind of a kid, I give you that, but still, 14 points per game, he deserves to be on a team. I mean, I'm just saying, I think he deserves to be on a team. I think he's better than some other guys out there that I've seen on rosters.
Well, one reason for that is because I feel like he didn't try out for anybody. He was just win the bidding and just hope to get picked up. Didn't try out because I feel like that's a lot about it, like with these players. The reason why they're not on teams because they didn't reach out to the owner and say, "Hey, give me a tryout. I'll play whatever position."
Yeah, a lot of them tryout. A lot of these teams don't do tryouts. They just think they're going in to get their boys, and then when shit hits the fan, they're not sure. And that's a case with them. Another one that I want to mention, Jersey Illest. He's been He's 4 seasons in the league. He's 16 points per game. That's solid numbers for a 500K player.
It is. It is. And I believe he's a wing player. You know, I've never talked to the guy, but I mean, 16 points per game on the wing, you can't really go wrong with that, man. I mean, somebody should at least give the man an opportunity. You know what I mean? Give him a chance to get in there and run with you. If you have somebody that's suspect, give him an opportunity. I hope Miz is listening to this because all these guys are worth a damn. Also, I want to throw out this guy. He's been a reliable owner for us. He's as an owner, he's won a championship in the worst season that EBA has ever had before my commission. Just want to make that clear. This was before I was commissioner. But it would defeat you. Won a championship in the All-Star season. He's a reliable guy, 13 points per game, 8 rebounds. A guy that you can look to be in the game. He'll play your four. He'll play wherever you need him. Very humble guy, very chill dude to hang out with. No problems from him at all. Very good guy. Give him a chance. He's a preferred big, but he'll play where you need him. Great dude, reliable guy. He'll be there when you need him. So hit up to feed you.
I agree. I think these guys that we're leaving off are all above 10 points a game. They're all solid players. They're all easy 500K player. I mean, these guys are well worth 500K. And looking through the bidding, and we went through every single roster today for about 2.5 hours. Some of these guys should be on a team compared to some of the guys that are currently on a team. Unrated Italian's another one. He has 5 seasons under his belt. Unrated Italian at 14 points a game and 8 rebounds. I mean, dude, he's ready. He's ready to go. So get that kid in, give him a chance, let him play, and watch him do work. Anybody that you can think of that maybe we missed. I know you don't want to give away who you're hiding over their garbage, but anybody you think that we can miss that are considered steals and deals in the free agency right now?
Honestly, I'm not looking to give away anybody because I just want a competitive league and I want all these players to be on the team because I know it'd make the league more competitive and more fun for everybody. And you guys pretty much named all of them that I was actually looking at for like possible replacements if something goes wrong.
So is there anybody? I know LJ's. He told me to give him a shout out. He's an all-star. If he's not on a team, the league's broke, I think is what he told me. So you gotta give LJ a shout.
He was reliable.
He is reliable. I don't know if he can, but still, I mean, he's a decent player for what you're looking for.
He's so reliable. One time he was speeding home. You took a picture of him going 115 miles per hour on his way home to get to a game.
He's got kids.
He actually sent that picture in the group me.
He's crazy. So I mean, definitely, you guys should have these on your free agent short list. If you don't put them there, deals and steals.
I gotta reiterate.
Agency. Go ahead.
I gotta reiterate. Power forward of the year, 500K. 500K power forward of the year. You can get him right now. Well, after free agent's done, you can pick him up. 500,000. Miz, if you're looking at this, GMB Stunner, power forward of the year, 500K, you can get him right now. Everybody else has to wait. But if Miz doesn't pick up GMB Stunner, y'all, power forward of the year sitting in free agency. I cannot believe it.
There you go, Wizards.
Blows my mind.
If Mag starts slipping up, you can throw him in there. There you go. I'm helping you out.
Yeah,
but no, for real. I mean, for the other people that are like, I don't really like it. I don't think this kid's gonna work out. You got some good guys, and the free agent is not weak. I mean, I would almost take those guys I listed there. I mean, there's 9 guys there. Throw me on a team. We got 10 guys. I'll give me a team. Better. I guarantee we'll finish better than the Lakers with these guys right here. Anyway. Moving on. Give me the Spurs. We'll take the Spurs right now. Throw us in the West. Let's go. Anyway, moving on. Let's move on to the next final segment here so we can be done. We've spent way too much time on this let's go to around the league. Let's hurry up and discuss what's going on around the league. Real quick, for those of you who don't know, the free agents has changed. I've been in a lot of parties this recently, and I heard guys go, "Oh, what training camp? If somebody could pick me up in training camp, or I want to be on a D league, or out it." There's no more training camp. It's gone. So as a free agent, if you're listening right now, if you want to get on a team, start hitting some of these teams that rosters look suspect, and there's a lot of them out there, and start hollering at them like, "Hey, hit me up." I mean, I would rather be on a free agent than in a few of these other teams that could be on out there. So definitely reach out as a free agent, get these owners and let them know, hey, I'm around if you need me. When you get your shot, ball out. And then the only negative part, and I was discussing this earlier today, the only negative part about being a free agent is you get no statistics while you're sitting down there. But you do get a shot, and that's really all you're looking for. Get a one-game contract for the week and show them that you can play that position better than the person who's currently playing it, and that guy will be sorry that he ever missed his day. So that's one of the major things going on in the league. As for the website itself around the league, there was a really good article today. Shout out to my teammate. It was Dog Ass Mellow. Yeah, I was trying to get there. I was trying to pull it up and talk at the same time. Can't chew bubblegum and walk. Definitely check that out. It's a nice little article. Kind of goes over some of the stuff that we agreed on him with. The bidding up and down. I'm trying to roll down
grades, players bidding.
That's what it is. Player bids, as he calls it.
And then he explains of how he feels. Somebody went, did they go too high, too low, just enough? Should they be in training camp? It's a very interesting read. You should definitely check it out if you haven't seen it yet. If you're interested on what goes on around the league. Another cool one that I thought was very unique, but I didn't understand why they didn't put the commissioner in it. It makes no sense. EBA celebrity personalities. This was unique and it was fun. I mean, it's not nothing like crazy about statistics or anything like that, but it's something fun for the league. Yeah, just something fun for the league. I mean, he goes through and shows, what players should be, what type of celebrity or diva or whatever. It's definitely pretty cool. It was a very fun read if you're interested. And I honestly think he hit some of these players around the head. But
yeah, he got ice too.
Yeah, he did get ice.
He got me.
He definitely got
Got
ice.
me.
He definitely got ice. But yeah, I think my favorite one was Drew.
What is it? Garbage? Hold on. It was ha 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 ha. Trolled him. How does that work?
that was sideways BSB Kiki because he just kept on doing that.
He started laughing and then he said
trolled.
Yeah, he's a troll. Move on. Sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying, it's definitely good. Definitely check that out. It's a fun read.
The preseason rankings by Cuban on Xbox, which he asked to be on the show, and I was honest with him. I think he's got 1 Wizards 2 to 10. It doesn't matter. You're welcome. I told him he's just not. He's irrelevant. I don't know if that's. I mean,
not yet. Maybe in the coming weeks you could change your mind.
Yeah, maybe he could ball out with somebody. And maybe I'll say, oh my gosh, Cuban, look at him, let's get him on. But I highly doubt that. I mean, maybe I could wake up with AIDS tomorrow too, but I doubt it because I've been married for a while and I don't go sleeping around. So I mean, that could be a real thing. I don't know. But either one is highly unlikely. Any other things we need to talk about that's going on around the league? Anything at all? I think we're good. I think we're good.
I think we covered everything.
I think we covered everything.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Actually, if anybody's interested in doing player association president, we're looking for a PA. If you're interested in that, hit me up. Our last one decided to step down after his long and very due diligent work he put in for us, man. And insane legend, he very appreciated, man. He put in a lot of work for you guys, and it's a hard job, especially if you do it right. And he busted his ass trying to help players that wrongfully blacklisted and so on and so forth. So, if y'all see him, give him a little, what's up and let him know that y'all appreciate it, because he definitely busted his ass for you guys. He stepped down, and we're looking for somebody to fill those big shoes. So if anybody's interested, hit me up with the PM on the site or group me, and we'll see what we can do about getting you in there.
Or maybe even ask him about, like, what are your responsibilities in case you're interested in being PA.
Yeah, I mean, just let me know, man. If you have the slight amount of interest and not a complete asshole, hit me up.
44 free agents. 44 minus the one that's needed on a team. You got 43 free agents. 43 people are begging to play in the EBA. Maybe next season we can step up and have maybe 2 more teams if we continue to grow at this rate, which I would love to add 12 teams. It would be awesome. And then let's go 14, 18, 20. I think that's great. So there's a lot of people, a lot of good talent, 44 free agents. Hit those guys up. As for the most feared man in the EBA, Garbage Assassin, I appreciate you being on the show.
Only one ever. Thank you.
And if you get a message that says dropped by Garbage, picture this music playing in the background. That's right. He just killed you. You guys can't hear it, but it's pretty bad. You know, I try. As always, appreciate my co-host. Put in all the work. Texas James Smith.
Definitely, man. Be here next week. I'll be here next week.
Same bat channel, same bat time. For those young kids, you don't know what that means, but you know, for the rest of us, old.
I don't even know what that means, and I don't think I'm that.
That's what they used to say at the end of every Batman that used to old ass Batman. I'm talking like the Adam West shit. I'm an old boy. They used to always say same bat channel, same bat
like
time.
70? Like
no, I'm not that old, but I'm an old soul.
Like young
I like
folks,
the old stuff.
Like we know what you're talking about, that old Batman when they're like pow.
Yeah, there you go.
Like, comic book.
There you go. And the guy would say same bat channel, same bat time next week. So I mean that's the same. No. All right. I'll just key the music. I'll just key the music.
Let's never do that again.
I'm excited for this season. Let's get it rolling, boys.
Let's do it, man. God bless you all, man. Have a good night. Now that we're off of it, what is your real, like when you really you're gonna finish the season? You can tell me, you know what else is this? Come on, 8, 9. Come on, man, this is me. Well, yeah, I know that's your goal, but come on, we are. What's your real goal? Tell them how shitty they are. Okay. Never ever.
Nah, I don't talk about
Let's get it, boys.
Now, Garbage, I'm going to be honest. I'm a little disappointed that you didn't blow out everybody like you said you was going to dog everybody. You didn't dog everybody. I gave you the opportunity.
Yeah, and we gave you a chance to shit on Trey. Like, no.
I've done a lot of that.
All right. Well.